Hey everybody, I have been getting a lot of questions via email, on Instagram, and even Facebook, asking the question, is Van Gogh, or I should say, was Van Gogh really an artist? A good artist, right? Somebody that who could paint in a way that nobody else could. And there's another artist that a lot of people ask me about, and of course, it's one of my favorites, very misunderstood artist as well, of course, Jackson Pollock, right? So everybody wants to know, were they really good artists? Because a lot of us look at, especially Jackson Pollock's work, right? And we say, anybody could do that. My kid can do that. If I drop paint, kick it over on accident, I could do that. And even Van Gogh, a lot of people say they appreciate his work, like Starry Night, or maybe Sunflowers, or his Dr. Paul Gauchet, that portrait. Everybody loves that work. But then at the end of the day, they're like, you know, he didn't really do that much. Or if he would have, I mean, he was good because he used a lot of bright colors, but he wasn't as good as I think he could be because he didn't do the word, right? Realism. So let's talk about that. So, realism, I love it, okay? It's a skill. I have some friends that do photorealism. It is insane, the skill level that it takes to paint like that. Now, they're taking it in a different direction that somebody like a Rembrandt or something took it, but at the end of the day, realism is very, very difficult to do. It's a unique skill, it is. But don't get me wrong, I have other friends who can do not only that, realism, but they also can stretch it into abstract. So they're taking realism into a totally different direction. So let's take Van Gogh, just for example. If you actually research the artist and you go back and you look at where he started, and when he was actually, whether he was studying with Anton Mauve or before that, when he was taking some classes, and I don't go into all of that in the episode just because it would have been like an hour long an episode, but seriously, you should dig into this. When Van Gogh started, he could paint, I mean, he could color, he could sketch realism, he could do realism, he could have painted just like the artist of the day. He could have done that and made everybody happy, right? Like maybe he could have made a lot of money. Or maybe he could have done, right, the classic, like tons of portraits and just that photorealistic mode. And even Jackson Pollock, it's the same thing. If you look back at his early work, he didn't start off abstract. And he doing these, incredible impressionistic, just, very action painting, pieces. He started off learning how to do realism, and he could have continued that as well. But there's something, right? If you're an artist or you're someone who loves to create, and you start creating, and then you start getting exposed to different works, right? Whether it's Jackson Pollock, Van Gogh, whoever it is, these guys, very similar in the way that they were exposed to a lot of different art. Van Gogh, by the way, when he was in Paris especially, he was going to art exhibits all the time. He was going around to different museums, getting exposed to all kinds of different work. He was also, of course, meeting with artists who were working in that time, right? The Impressionists. So he was getting exposed by them to Japanese woodcuts, too. I mean, the guy was being exposing himself to all different types of art. And the same with Jackson Pollock. As we do know, right? The action painting, we believe, came from him seeing some sand paintings done, right? So, some drip sand paintings. But the point is, these guys, there was something. And it wasn't just guys. It was, Mary Cassatt. There was a lot of artists at this time who were trying to figure out what's next. And they're trying to take the old and compose it and move it into something new. Now, just because what we see on the front end, right, and especially as even artists today, you look at their work and you think, some artists, not every, right, and you're like, oh man, what is that? It's garbage. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. And then we always want to go back to that crutch of, if it's realism and I can see it and understand it and I can make complete sense of it, then it must be good art. And I'm not saying that it's not good art, but at the end of the day, a lot of artists, they could do that. They have that skill set, right? But they're choosing not to do it because there's I get this way. There's something in you that's like, I've got to create something unique. I want to keep moving. Like, I could do that, but something inside of me is like pushing and pushing and pushing, and I have to get it out. And what's so cool to me, right? For me, looking at Jackson Pollock and Van Gogh, just as our examples here, right? They could have done that, but they didn't sell out in any sense of the word. If anything, they took the most difficult path. Now, of course, obviously Jackson Pollock saw quite a bit of fame at his time. Van Gogh, not so much. But point being is, they could have just followed the crowd and done what everybody else defined as really good art, right? But they didn't. So that's why, for me, I mean, I love studying dead artists. Female, male, doesn't matter, right? But there is something about going and seeing a current artist working, and it doesn't have to be in New York, but there are a lot of ones in New York that are really cool. Even locally for me here, I love talking to artists who are just trying to find their way, right? They're just making their own path, and they're developing, and they're creating, and they're destroying, and they're taking part. I mean, it's the same way, like if you're building a car or anything else, right? I mean, that's essentially what Apple did, you know, just taking things apart, moving, changing, developing. But nonetheless, so to the question of a lot of people have emailed me is like, this is just junk. I don't get it. What's the big deal? The big deal is they were like just trailblazing creativity. And even though, yes, perhaps you could kick over a can of paint or something and maybe it looks, I'll argue whether or not you could actually do that, or an elephant. That's always the classic one, right? These guys, they developed to that point and they could have done something else. But again, I can't tell you how important it is. Like if you want to create something unique and you're feeling like you got to go this direction, but you're just fearful that, man, somebody's not going to like it, man, you got to do it, right? You got to do it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed those particular episodes. Certainly the new Van Gogh one, because I'm obsessed with Van Gogh right now because I've read way too many biographies on him. So, hey, please give me some feedback. I would love to hear about this video, whether you agree, disagree. I mean, that's the cool part, right? It's a discussion. So connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I love to connect with you. Until next time, guys, be outrageous. Click on the right to get yourself some more Artrageous episodes, and click on the left on the circle icon to subscribe. And please, I would love to connect with you on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Artrageous Nate. Hey, everybody, have a great day and be outrageous.